Tony Blair has set out the main policies on which Labour will fight the general election. He said the party had learned from past mistakes, changed for good, and was now fit to govern. Mr. Blair said voters now had a choice between what he called the same old Tories and new Labour. But the Prime Minister called the proposals fatally flawed. Our political editor Robin Oakley reports.
En route to the election manifesto, Labour's leader, who wrote much of it himself, has opted for the middle of the road. New Labour, he says, is neither old left nor new right. The word socialism, though, has disappeared amid the glitz of team photos and credit card-style policy summaries. Mr. Blair's message is that he's changed his party and now New Labour can be trusted to deliver a new Britain.
There has been a revolution inside the Labour Party. We have rejected the worst of our past and rediscovered the best. And in rediscovering the best of our past, we have made ourselves fit to face the future and fit to govern.
Gone are Labour's past commitments to uprate pensions in line with earnings, to raise child benefit and increase national insurance contributions. Gone are the older memories of a unilateralist, Eurosceptical Labour. In are the expected commitments to a minimum wage, the social chapter, a Scottish Parliament. The manifesto, more aspirations than hard commitments, highlights 5 policy priorities. Slimming primary class sizes with savings from phasing out assisted places. Cutting NHS waiting lists by trimming red tape. Cracking down on young offenders by speeding court hearings. Finding 250,000 jobs for young people, paid for by a windfall tax on privatised utility profits. And imposing tight curbs on government borrowing and spending with tough inflation targets.
None of the programmes that we've outlined in this document today require raising taxes. None of them do. In fact, they're all about switching priorities, getting money into frontline public services, making sure that the large sums of money we are spending are spent in the interests of the broad majority of people, not simply a few at the top.
The memory of successful Tory attacks on their tax plans last time has seared the Labour leadership. They'd rather face some party taunts that it's all too safety first than present their opponents with that chance again. But ministers swiftly set the election tone by scoffing at Labour's arithmetic on school savings and the windfall tax.
It's no good just taking one little popular symbol, fat cats pay too much, and banging a tax on the rest of us to pay for all these Labour promises. And to do that and give the impression that nobody really feels all this expenditure is really seriously misleading.
The Liberal Democrats called it all too timid.
I'm very disappointed by this document because in spite of the description which is applied to it, it doesn't really seem to me to contain much that's very new.
Thank you very much.
For Labour, the next stage is getting party backing for the document, first at their conference, then in a referendum of party members. But some say a take-it-or-leave-it vote isn't much of a consultation.
What a lot of people resent is being told that they have to accept this, and if they don't, then it's a slap in the face for the leadership. Democracy should be a bit more adult than that.
Mr. Blair admits it's as much a personal credo as a party programme. There'll now be a huge nationwide selling operation, while the Tories counter with their insistence that it's New Labour, new dangers. What could be a very long drawn-out election campaign has begun. Robin Oakley, BBC News, Westminster.